If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. When you do, make sure you hit the notification bell. That means that you will be informed of when a new video has been released. If you would like to take that support one step further, you can do that via Patreon, which is an optional monthly service. You can donate money towards the channel, or you can go over to Ko-fi.com, and for the price of a coffee you can help donate towards the channel as well. Links for all of those will be in the description of the video, and without further ado, enjoy the video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching another interview from the SIL, and today I'm delighted to be able to say that we have some breaking news coming from the SIL. So as a special treat, we have been joined by the manager for Bromford Road Old Boys, Ash Bex. Ash, how are you doing, sir? You well this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Life is slowly returning to normal. It seems very, very strange. But how have you been during this time? It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, there's been a stressful few weeks. I think
Right.
the beginning of lockdown, me and my partner were both working at home, trying to look after the two kids, homeschool them, while still trying to get our day's work done.
Yeah.
It was a bit stressful, but my partner was then furloughed until the end of July,
Right.
which allowed her to carry on looking after the kids while I could do my work.
Yeah.
We're now sort of venturing back into the office, doing alternate weeks. So I'm not
Right.
home this week, but back in the office again next week. So yeah, starting to get back to a bit more of normality.
Yeah, I don't know how people with kids have been doing it. No, I say that because my boy is 7 months old, so he's at the perfect age where hasn't got a clue what the hell's going on. You don't have to do any of the homeschooling. He's still in his routine, so we've been absolutely fine. But for people who've got kids, I honestly, if I had a hat, I'd take it off for you. But
yeah, I mean, I got two girls, 5 and 7, and I
Right.
think the cabin fever is starting to kick in a bit. I think they're starting to get on top of each other and they're starting to fight, and
yeah,
it's trying to find that balance between, they're used to their home where they can play with their toys and do that kind of stuff, but trying to get them to read their books and do their school learning as well is a challenge at times.
Definitely. So let's get into the breaking news that has come from the SIL. You guys have found a new home. You will be playing next year's games at Woodbridge, which in itself for the club is a fantastic coup. It's not a signing, but in terms of having a home and everything secure for next year, it is, facilities wise, it is amazing. How are you feeling about the move? Because it is taking the club out of Ipswich, so I have to ask the question about that as well. But how are you feeling about the move?
We're excited. I think as a club, the idea of playing on a nice pitch, I think Woodbridge have spent a fair bit of money on the pitch over the last few seasons. Like we say, the facilities they have, just simple things like having substitute benches and things like that, nice changing rooms, an on-site bar. We're excited. Like you say, it is out of Ipswich, but it's worth travelling to get them kind of facilities.
Yeah. Was there any kind of reservations about coming out of Ipswich where, have the club looked at any options within the town? Because, the name in itself is the clue in terms of Bromford Road. It's an Ipswich-based club. Now, it's only over, I say only, but it's just over 9 miles away from the existing home. So, any options potentially in the town? Did you kind of just, venture into that?
Yeah, we tried. We went down many routes. I've been busy since during lockdown, messaging teams on Twitter, putting things on Twitter, just looking for a pitch share, anything like that. But nothing came about that I really fancied, or we fancied as a club. And like I said, Woodbridge, I approached them sort of last year, or they approached. It was a sort of a mutual conversation. I was having a conversation with an old friend who's part of the Woodbridge committee. We were hosting a charity day there, and he just said, "Why don't you come here?" And I sort of took a step back and thought, initially I did think it was a bit too far, but then thinking about where most of my players are based, on the east side of Ipswich, I think sometimes trying to get across town can take just as long as getting to Woodbridge.
Yeah.
I mean, I had while the talks were in place, I had conversations with the committee, I had conversations with the players, just trying to make sure that if this move does go ahead, it's got to be right for everyone, because I didn't want to lose any players for the sake of having to travel a few extra miles.
100%.
I've started to build what I'd say was quite a good squad. So it would be a shame to lose that, but lucky enough, I've got everyone on board.
Definitely. And I suppose from a committee perspective, was everybody okay with the move and happy with it? I mean, it probably wouldn't have gone ahead if they weren't.
No. I took the committee went together. We went to met Woodbridge together. I think their initial thoughts, like we said about the coming out of Ipswich, is a big move for a club. I think we're one of the oldest clubs in the SIL, if I'm right. Always been Ipswich based, so it was a big step to come out. But discussions between the two committees made it feel like it was the right move to do.
Definitely. And I suppose a lot of people will be wanting to know and ask the question in terms of how the arrangement is going to be set up, because I know very brief information about Woodbridge. It's not a club that I have visited yet. So have they got the facilities to cater not only the first team and you, but also Woodbridge reserves as well? So how is that balance going to work?
So that was one thing that we had to get in place to make sure that could work. They Copplestonians did used to play there a few years ago, apparently.
Right. Okay.
So we knew the fixture side of things. They've got 4 changing rooms. We will play alternate weeks to Woodbridge Town first team.
Right.
So Woodbridge reserves will be playing on the main pitch. We will be playing on a side pitch.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So like I said, there's 4 changing rooms, so there's plenty of space for everybody. But we'll see how that pans out with the COVID-19 stuff. We might not even be allowed in the changing room for quite a while.
Good point.
So, but the facilities are there, and there's plenty of space for us to work together.
Definitely. So I suppose from your perspective as the manager of the club, is this somewhere where you feel is going to be home for you guys now? Because we talked very briefly kind of off camera before we began, and the club has moved to a couple of locations in the past, in the recent past. So is this now somewhere where you feel that as long as the relationship goes well this first year and there's a smooth transition, that potentially this could be home?
I think so. I think they had that. That's the impression we got from meeting the committee and meeting the members of Woodbridge, having a little feel. They were very welcoming to us, and it's a place I know quite well from playing for Woodbridge as a youngster. And the on-site bar, all of that kind of stuff that it can offer is something that we've not really had for a long time. So at the moment we were playing at Witton Sports Centre. We were then travelling to the Suffolk Punch for a drink afterwards. But by the time everyone had got into their car, there was struggle to park, people would just carry on home, and we weren't getting many teams come back to join us for a drink either.
Right.
Whereas and I've noticed that when we're at away games, we do always support the bar after if they've got an on-site bar. So it's nice to be able to give that back to the teams when they come and visit us. This season round, we'll put sandwiches on, things like that. Yeah, and just trying to build that community back, which I think we need as a club as well.
Definitely, because I suppose I'm just trying to think, where is the Suffolk Bowl's down the other end of Norwich Road, isn't it?
Yeah, so you have to go back out onto Norwich Road and sort of head back towards town. Whereas if you're playing some teams in our league, Cockfield, Saxmundham, them kind of guys, it's easier for them to get straight out onto the A14 to head home. Yeah. So I can understand it, but hopefully now we've got the on-site facilities, we can start to build that community spirit back within the club.
Definitely. Let's kind of move on to talk about last season for you and for the club. Now, I'm right in saying this was your first season as
full
manager.
Season,
yeah. So last season, I suppose from your perspective, must have been very, very disappointing to have the season finish when it did, because you guys were in third place. Granted, you were 2 games ahead of the other teams above you, but you were only 1 point behind, I think, from what I've done.
I think we were 2 games ahead of Bedricks, but 4 games behind Tattenstone. I think that was how it finished up.
So how do you reflect on last season, just missing out based on the situation that has happened? How do you reflect on last year?
It was tough. It was tough to take. I mean, we had a bit of a rocky start. We won our first game, then we sort of lost 2 or 3 in a row, and from then on, we were the chasers. So you had your Bedricks and your Tattenstone. We were then on the chase, which gave us a bit of extra bite, I think, throughout the season. I think after we had the rocky start, we then went on, I think maybe like a 10-12 game unbeaten run. Cool. We let ourselves down on the last day of the season. We lost to Wolverhampton. I think deep down maybe some of the players had one eye on the Junior Cup semi-final the following week, which then again didn't happen. But I think if we'd have won that game, our points per game ratio would have been slightly higher. I think in the end we missed out by 0.1 of a point on points per game. So it was tough, but then again, we're ready to go again this year. I think we've still got that hunger and that bite, because we felt a bit of an injustice, really. And I think we were, apart from the the hiccup at Wolverhampton, we were on a really good run, and we were the team to beat in that league. We still had to face Bedricks at their place, which was going to be the last game of the season. So that could have been a decider, but the fate was taken out of our hands, and we go again.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at Division 3, Kesgrove Kestrels will feel a slight injustice and will have that bite. Obviously, there's you guys in Division 2, Sporting in Division 1, and you look at the top division, Cranes, who have been denied that chance to win the league as a result. So that is really going to spur you guys on for next season. That's all the motivation you really need, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have to be fair to teams like Halesworth and Ransom. They were really good sides in Div 1. That'd have been an injustice to them not get promoted. I mean, on the flip side, it'd have been nice to have seen maybe some of the teams who were struggling in their divisions put their hands up and say, "Look, let's rebuild." I think we'd have fared well in Div 1. When I look at the cup run that we went on as well, we took on Bacton, who were last season's finalists at their place, and knocked them out. We then took Stanton on in the following round, beat them 5-0. It gave us. We thought, we can really hold our own in that division. But hopefully that we can next season we'll get that promotion that we crave.
Before we kind of talk about next year, for you, as I said, with this being your first full season, how do you think you've personally fared? Tough question.
It's been tough. I've put a lot. I put a lot of hours in. I put a lot of time in. I think when I first started helping out with the club, we had a core of about 6 players, and I've just gradually started to bring people in, and you bring one person in, they bring their friend along, and I think I've got a really good squad with a really good bunch of boys now, who are keen, and I get good support at training, which as a club, when I played, we probably didn't have. I get up to 20 boys each training session all through the season. I think on that note, I've brought the club, tried to bring the club up to the next level, really. And again, I think that having the facilities like Woodbridge as well is another. I don't know how to explain it, but like another string to your bow, I suppose.
Yeah, it's another positive step in the right direction for the club, isn't it? And the reason why I asked about the from the personal perspective, because the previous 2 seasons they'd finished 10th, then 8th, and now you've had this season of finishing 3rd. So that was the
Yeah.
kind of the reason why I was wanting to mention that, is because it does seem from an outside that there's been a dramatic increase for whatever reason this season. So it was just more to kind of, from
Yeah.
your perspective, to figure out where or how that had really come about.
Yeah,
But
and I think just trying to change the image of the club as well. So I handle all the social media accounts. So try and raise our profile a bit as well amongst other teams. I like the finer things. I like to have nice kits. I like to have nice training equipment, things like that. So, we've got 2 new sponsors for 2 brand new kits.
yeah,
They've all got new tracksuits. Just things like that. Just like the simple things. Like I say, now we've got the facilities that we want as well as a club.
yeah, definitely. Because your social media presence, I was going to talk about it actually, but we might as well talk about it now. It's very impressive, especially from an Instagram perspective. I really like what you guys sort of do over there. So why do you think that's an important thing for a club in the SIL?
Because I want teams to know who we are and to sort of, I say respect us, but they know what we're up to. They know if I bring a player in, they know oh look, they're doing some good business, and also it helps if you've got a good social media presence. It helps with your sponsors as well, because our first team sponsor is a plumber or a gas engineer, and we've got him boiler installs, we've got him repairs. Just from seeing our pages, I've got people who follow football, and then we're getting messages on our Facebook saying, oh, can I get his details? So the social media presence just helps.
100%. So let's look at next season then.
Yep.
We've talked about the motivation you guys all need. I'm not going to ask how you see things going from a personal perspective. Let's look at things from a league perspective. There's 2 new clubs that are coming into it, in Melton and Elmswell, who are going to be very, very competitive. They did incredibly well last season in the division below. What are you expecting from the league as a whole? Because there has been quite a few changes in that division during this break that we've had.
Yeah, it's still going to be a really tough league. We met Elmswell early on in the season in the Morrison Freight Cup, I think it was, and they were a really handy outfit. From when I played against them a few seasons ago, they look like they've completely changed their team. So they'll be tough. We only scraped a 3-2 win against them. Yeah. So I know they're going to be tough. Melton, they went unbeaten, I think, didn't they? They're in the whole of last season.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, another tough team, and then you've got all the teams. I think the last few seasons, even when I was playing, you've had 2 teams at the top running away with it, and then you've had a chase and pack in the middle. And I'd like the runaway leaders to be us, but I think all the teams left in there are all the chase and pack. So I think that's going to make it a really competitive Div 2 next year.
100%. I'm going to ask you, aims for next season. Realistically, it's got to be promotion, hasn't it? I don't think there's any kind of hiding away from it.
No, we can't. We've got to hit the ground running, really. And like I say, we just got to have that sort of grip between our teeth from early on. We've lined up some tough pre-season fixtures. Right. If we get the go-ahead to sort of steady ourselves and see where we're at. But yeah, as opposed to last season, this season we do really need to hit the ground running.
Definitely. I'm going to use this last little bit for you to shamelessly plug the club. Any players out there who are yet to find a home, or anybody's looking for a new challenge, why should they consider coming to Brunford Road Old Boys?
Because we're a club going in the right direction, I think. I think from the team through to the committee, we've all got one vision, and that's to be better and move forward. So, I try and always, some of my friends who play football, who play at higher levels, try and say, come play for me. But I think we're going in the right direction, and I think people, if they came along, would enjoy to be part of it.
Yeah,
we're a good bunch of lads. We go to train and we have a really good laugh, and I hope that now we've got the on-site facilities for the bar, that sort of stuff will continue.
Yeah.
On that side, you know, with Woodbridge again, we get the hall hire as part of the package. So we're starting to look at doing our race nights again. You know, just really being that sort of family club and pull everyone in together.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Ash, I wish you all the best of luck for next season. Whenever it may start, hopefully we can get football back up and running soon, and we can actually complete a full calendar season. It would be nice for a change. But yeah, really, really appreciate your time, and I hope the move to Woodbridge goes smoothly, and you know, enjoy the facilities, because from what I've heard, you seem to be you've kind of hit the jackpot really in terms of facilities. Very, very, very lucky move. So well done.
Brilliant. No, thank you.
No worries at all. If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. You know the drill by now. If you want to help support the channel, take that support one step further. We've got Patreon and Ko-fi links down in the description. If you want to donate anything to the channel, that'd be massively appreciated. But until next time, as always, adios.